Council, Tuesday, April 22nd, 2:00 p.m. in Council Chambers. First item up would be the adoption of minutes of some previous meetings, Committee of the Whole minutes from April the 7th, regular open minutes from April the 7th, and special open minutes from April the 14th. Any council input into any of those? They will be adopted by consensus. No business arising, no late items, so the agenda we have will be the one that we're using, and that brings us to delegations. This is a special meeting for both council and the town. We have the people that have applied for grants in aid for the year 2014, and this goes to a committee, and they go through it as a separate part of council. It had Councillor Ryan on it, and Councillor Plant on it, and Director Davis from Community Services, and they went through and they make an evaluation of those. There's approximately $47,000, and it's always oversubscribed every year, so there has to be some pairing. Not everybody may get all that they want for, and some may not really get anything that they apply for, but certainly they're welcome to come back and try to do it again. So this year, when we started this last year, we have asked the people that have applied to come forward so we can actually present them with the checks and again recognize the volunteers and the good work that these folks and these organizations do for our town. So without going much further than that, I'm going to call on Councillor Ryan and Councillor Plant to get ready to hand out the checks. And we're going to start right off with the first group. Now this is under, they have some categories here. This is under preferred support. So we have two organizations here. One is the Royal Canadian Legion, Branch 173, and the other one is the Osoyoos Elks, and this is for their senior citizen. This is for Elks Golden Villa. And these organizations have applied to have the community portion of their property taxes waived, which would just be the piece that comes to the town of Osoyoos. And so I'm going to call on Bruce Davis to come forward from the Legion. And we don't have a check for you, but we have an in-kind handshake. Thanks a lot, Bruce, and that will come through. And the other one for the Elks, senior citizen, Elks Golden Villa. Eileen Varga, thank you very much. And thank you. That's you know, we always talk about affordable housing, and it's such a big buzzword, and we have that affordable housing right there with Elks Golden Villa. I mean, the town's always looking for more than that, but the Elks do a great job of running that operation. So thank you very much. The next one is the Community Foundation of the South Okanagan. Great, thank you. Thanks, Sarah. That's Sarah Trudeau, and this is something that this is fairly new, but this is that big picture community foundation for people that are looking for somewhere that maybe leave a bit of a financial legacy that can be going to the town of Osoyoos forever. It's sort of in perpetuity, because the foundation operates on what it brings in on an interest base every year. And it's been active in the Okanagan Valley for a long time, mostly in Penticton, but Osoyoos has had a component involved in there since its inception. Another one was the South Okanagan Minor Hockey. They have received their money already. I think there was a need there, or a tournament or some travel, so they have received that funding. Under the category of traditional support, the Osoyoos Festival Society. Thank you. And that's an amount of $6,000, but they do all the festivals in town, well recognized, well received, and a hearty thank you for those efforts. Osoyoos Royalty Committee. Kathy Basket, thank you. Again, that is a $6,000 one. That includes the bursaries for the girls at the end of the year. They all get bursaries for representing the town of Osoyoos and doing all the work that they do. The next one would be the Canada Day fireworks. Don't know if anyone is here for that because we actually have fundraisers there. When Frank Zanfleet was collecting the money and doing the fireworks, he was here. But then we had two other people that have stepped forward, Annette Starr and Etta May. We may have missed that on the process. But so that fireworks, that's a $5,000 amount that goes towards that great July 1st celebration. South Okanagan Integrated Community Services. Nobody here, that's fine. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. You have to be faster. Great, thank you very much. And that was a $4,000 amount. Then we have the Elks, but we've already done the Elks. Then we have some new requests. There's always time for new money. The International Curling Club. Anybody here? Oh, thank you very much. Thank you very much, John. Another one here would be the Osoyoos Lake Water Quality. This is under a special environmental category. We have the two Brians. Brian Hallgate and Fultonson.
Appreciate the support of the town.
Thanks a lot. This is the organization that has the pontoon boat and does the water testing. They go out once or twice a week. Would you like to have some comments?
I would, actually, Mr. Mayor.
Great. Have you got a mic on with a red button there?
It's on. Yep.
Great.
Thank you for this. I realized we should have probably applied for the grant and received it before we bought the new trailer, but we were awful short on time and we had a boat in the water and needed the trailer taken out. So this will allow us to keep going this year and part ways into next and maybe longer. So again, thank you, and you can all become members for $20 a year and we'll take you out for a boat ride every Wednesday morning. Thank you.
Thanks, Brian. And this is a lot of great work they do, and it was really interesting to get a report from the Provincial Ministry of the Environment of just how important the water sampling and testing and the results are for the quality of Osoyoos Lake. So we've been doing it for a long time. I think it's rather unique in all of Canada. And thank you for carrying on that tradition and that good work, because as we all know, the quality of the water in Osoyoos Lake is paramount to the town, basically. So thanks again. Oliver Osoyoos Search and Rescue. Yes. Okay, and that's really good, and it's really neat to see Search and Rescue. They're really progressing now. They found some land. They found a home. It's really good to see this moving forward with your equipment and that. So what a great service to both Oliver and Osoyoos. Thank you. Osoyoos Pickleball Club, that was a $10,000 ask. That is receiving nothing in this program. There was no use giving smaller amounts. This will come into our budget deliberations for next year. They were looking at they operate out of the Sonora in the main gym in the winter season, and they're looking to find an outdoor location. We have what we think is an outdoor location for them right now, but we'll get this into the budget process and hopefully get something going for next year. So that would be all for the pickleballers. Lake Osoyoos Sailing Club. Jürgen.
Yes, sir.
Thanks, Jürgen. Thanks to the club. Again, this was a $3,000 ask, but they had that cut in half to $1,500, and there's nothing wrong with that program. You know, if we're contributing and they're contributing in their way, it seems to work for both parties that way also.
For the people that don't know, this money will be used to build a storage rack for the club boats, so we can free up some more area on the lawn and invite new members to bring their boats, and we bring it. So that'll be a good start to get this built. We will start this year and probably complete it next year. And my treasurer is here, so I'm just going to pass it right on.
Thanks, Jürgen. And I'd just like to say that the Lake Osoyoos Sailing Club, they put on a program for the youth all over the place that can come here and take sailing lessons. And it's quite a unique program, and they've been doing it forever. And I know I had Martha's nephew out from Ontario, and he came and took the sailing lessons. And you learn how to sail. It's like riding a bike. You learn how to sail once, and you learn that for life. And it's a great skill to have, and a great activity. So that's a part of, I think a lot of people in town don't understand that this is being done, and for a minor amount they have a certified instructor and books and come and learn how to sail. So anybody out there with grandkids or your own kids or anything, make sure that they're aware that there's a real great Learn How to Sail program in Osoyoos. Thank you very much. Osoyoos Boys and Girls Club for some lounge furniture. Very, very good activity, and great to have the service. Absolutely. We'd love to have you say a few words.
So I just wanted to say thank you so much. We have been operating out of the Sonora Center upstairs with our youth lounge for a number of years now. We provide free drop-in programs for children and youth age 10 to 16. And this will just really help us to provide some new furniture. I think it was used when we got the furniture originally, so we really appreciate the donation of the room as well, because through Parks and Rec we use that room, and it really provides a safe place for kids to go after school and at lunchtime if they don't have a place to go. So it's been a really great asset, and we're growing. We've got a membership of probably about 40 kids that come and go, so we're hoping to continue growing. So thank you very much for this.
Again, thanks for that service. This is a service that the whole town would appreciate. They may not see it. It's what you don't see in this one. That's the best part. So thanks again. The Osoyoos Traditional Archery School. Brock.
Hi, if I may.
Absolutely.
At the start of last year, this council helped the club get started, and just to prove to your money didn't go wasted, as of this weekend, Osoyoos Traditional Archery School is a power to be reckoned with. We just went with 3 people to the Canadian National Indoor Championship. Gold, gold, gold. And a 90% chance that the first woman longbow 3D archer in the history of Canada will be from this town.
Great, great. Great. Absolutely. Val? That's the 3 gold medal winners with the Town of Osoyoos flag. Congratulations. And I'd like to add that when the school actually got started here, and it was Brock Payton that got it going, a few other people, Kellyanne and that, but he had some good support. And for our young people and for our youth, this is a very, very inexpensive sport to join. A lot of times, some of the activities we do can have a little bit of an expensive end to it in the form of equipment or the facility that they use. This one here, they're up on Strawberry Creek, and they can get in there, and the youth can get in and partake in a sport and a skill that again is lifelong and very little cost. So if there's anyone out there that has, again, these kids and that, they might want to get interested in the traditional archery school. Again, a great service to the town of Osoyoos and the young folks that live here and the adults. And I know Brock has traveled representing Canada. I think his last trip took him to Italy, as I recall. That might have been the year before. But he's doing a lot of traveling and getting a lot of recognition for archery in the town of Osoyoos. So thanks very, very much for that program. Now, that says I'm done. Okay, so thanks everybody. Again, this is that sense of community that makes the place so darn wonderful to live in. And it's good for everybody, and we really enjoyed. And these were taxpayer dollars, so we really think that these groups are worthy of all that support. Thanks a lot. Sure.
As long as it's not raining.
How's it looking out there? It's a little drizzly, but we can do it. Well, we gotta do our group shot, so if we can meet outside and do a group shot here.
Okay, we'll do a 5-minute recess.
Mayor Wells, do all the council want to be part of that?
Sure, we might as well.
I'm not going out in the rain unless I can have my umbrella. Well, you don't have hair to worry about.
Drop a shampoo and you can go do.
Paid someone, you can sit here for an extra $5.
You're welcome. Nice to see you.
You're very welcome.
Hey. I gotta mention these kids' names here when I get into my report. I got it.
I don't want to break the camera today.
Come on, Gerald.
Gotta go.
You're the glue that held the committee together.
Councilor Pont's leaving now, yes. So how's Claude doing?
Good. Weren't that Chobatar place, weren't you supposed to be applying for water or something?
Chopatar.
I've been here now.
That's the,
Stella, wherever it is.
yeah, and I think where that all got left off last was, you said that they were approved.
Well, yeah, Barry asked me when they
Yeah.
here, and I said, I could have sworn we approved that one time.
So it's in Ronnie's hands, I think.
But it was approved.
I'm sure it was.
Well, that's what I thought too.
Yeah, so,
I know that's been here a couple of times, and I think all times it was approved, if I'm right. All except for the something to do with the tanks.
oh, okay.
Yeah, that was, yeah, but this apparently is not for the winery, it's for
No, it's
something
just
else.
for
That's
the
what
house.
Barry said, yeah.
It's just a domestic for the house.
Yeah, so.
And that's the best approach to have anything come into the district, is get water council's approval.
Well, I see, I thought it was, and Barry didn't think it was, but he said he was gonna check though. Yeah, and I guess that's why it's not here, maybe he did check and found out it was.
That's quick.
Yeah, that's,
That's right, we didn't have any speech time.
For a phone. Speaker back on.
I've got the names of the two, got to do the names for the gold medal winners, so I'll do that on my report.
Oh, okay.
Good.
Okay, we'll reconvene, restart the meeting. Well, that was pretty exciting to have all those groups of people here and to be giving out those awards. The next item on the agenda would be water matters and water district accounts in the amount of $18,901.25 for approval. Councillor Morera and seconder Councillor Rhodes. Any discussion? All in favor? We can pay those bills. Under correspondence, there's none. Under bylaws H, Osoyoos tax rates bylaw number 1305, 2014. Mr. Zacco, please. I guess I'll preface this by saying CAO Romanco is on a bit of a holiday till, I believe, the 29th of the month, and our acting CAO, Jim Zacco, is in his place. Mr. Zacco.
Thank you, Mayor Wells. So before council is the 2014 Osoyoos tax rates bylaw 1305. The background is to update the tax rates bylaw for 2014 with the due date being July 2nd. The 2014 Osoyoos tax rates bylaw is in line with the 5-year financial plan that was adopted March 3rd. The budget for municipal tax revenue is $2,414,460, being the 2013 budget plus $10,400 in new construction tax dollars and a 1.75% increase. The business multiple remains at 1.6 times the residential mill rate. The town of Osoyoos is responsible for collecting and remitting taxes for other taxing authorities, including the following: school, hospital, RCMP, Regional District of Okanagan-Similkameen, library, BC Assessment Authority, Municipal Finance Authority. The 2013 Bennett for property owners eligible to claim the homeowner grant whose home is located in British Columbia but outside the Capital Regional District, Greater Vancouver Regional District, and Fraser Valley Regional District will continue for 2014. This benefit is called the Northern and Rural Homeowner Benefit. This benefit being up to $200 above the current homeowner grant levels. The average assessed value for single-family residents is $333,914. A single-family resident will pay $603.38 on their municipal portion of taxes. For an average assessment on business and other, the average assessed value is $231,428, and their annual portion for municipal taxes is $669.10. Property tax rates bylaw must be adopted by May 15th as per section 197 of the Community Charter. Under implications for community, continued operation and enhancement of the municipality, organizational, there's no changes. Budget, Osoyoos tax rates bylaw is in line with the 5-year financial plan bylaw. Significant dates, the tax rates bylaw needs to be adopted no later than May 15th. Sustainability, working to ensure maintaining levels of service for the community and financial sustainability for the town. Options, to give first 3 readings to 2014 Osoyoos tax rates bylaw 1305. Option 2, to delay first 3 readings, and recommendation from staff is option 1.
Council, please. Councillor Rhodes.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'll move option 1 to give the first 3 readings to the 2014 Osoyoos tax rate bylaw 1305, 2014.
And Councillor Ryan seconding that. Any further discussion? I guess just a couple of high points that I'd like to add, and one of them is that this includes the RCMP reserve funding that we've been setting aside for a couple years now, and for that moment when we go over 5,000 and have to increase our RCMP costs. So it's nice to have that there, Council. That had a dollar figure, a direct dollar figure to Council making that contribution into the reserve. And the other one I'd like to mention would be that 1.6 multiplier for the business commercial component as a multiplier. That is definitely one of the lowest in the province of British Columbia. The provincial government recommendation is 2.45 as a multiplier, and some of the bigger areas are as high as 5.5 to 6%, or 6 times as a multiplier on residential. So at 1.6, Osoyoos is truly one of the lowest multipliers in the province, and we're quite proud of that. Anything further from Council? All in favor? First 3 readings are done. Under bylaws, Museum Parcel Tax Amendment Bylaw 1300.01 2014. Mr. Zackel.
Thank you, Mayor Wells. So before Council is the Museum Parcel Tax Amendment Bylaw 1300.01. In 2011, the Regional District of Okanagan-Similkameen adopted the Osoyoos Museum Service Establishment Bylaw 2553 for Electoral Area A and the Town of Osoyoos, which received elector assent on the 5th of June 2011. The referendum in 2011 stated the annual cost would be allocated as a flat charge to all taxable properties in Electoral Area A and the Town of Osoyoos. This bylaw was established to enable the purchase of the future museum property currently occupied by Osoyoos home builders. In order for the Town of Osoyoos to collect the portion owing from the regional district requisition for the service on the property taxes, a parcel tax bylaw was created in 2013. This amendment bylaw is to adjust the rate to the requisition from the RDOS. Implications for the community. The electors of Electoral Area A and the Town of Osoyoos approved the borrowing of funds for the future location of the museum. Organizationally, there's nothing. Under budget, allows for the collection of the museum requisition from the RDOS. Significant dates. Bylaw needs to be adopted no later than May 15th. Sustainability. This bylaw allows for the collection of funds required to pay the town's portion of the debt of the museum property. Under options, option 1, to give first 3 readings of Museum Parcel Tax Amendment Bylaw 1300.01, and option 2, not to amend Municipal Parcel Tax Bylaw 1300/2013. And staff is recommending option 1.
Looking for first 3 readings. Councillor Ryan, please. Second, Councillor McCordoff. Any discussion? All in favor? Opposed? That is carried. More of the same, please. Another sewer parcel tax amendment bylaw, number 1182.06, 2014. East Lakeshore Drive sewer parcel tax. Mr. Zackel, please.
Thank you, Mayor Wells. So there's 2 parcel tax amendment bylaws here for Council's decision. Bylaws 1182.06 and 1183.06, which are East Lakeshore Drive sewer and water parcel taxes. East Lakeshore Sewer Parcel Tax Bylaw 1182 and East Lakeshore Water Parcel Tax Bylaw 1183 were established for a specified area on Lakeshore Drive in 2002. These bylaws were created to establish the method of collection of parcel taxes for the water and sewer infrastructure installed in 2003. Collection of parcel taxes for this specified area began in 2004. Bylaws 1182.06 East Lakeshore Drive Sewer Parcel Tax Bylaw and 1183.06 East Lakeshore Drive Water System Parcel Tax Bylaw are being brought forward for to Mayor and Council for their consideration. The reason for these bylaw amendments are due to the debt portion being refinanced with the Municipal Finance Authority under Debt Issue 80. The bylaw amendment reflects the refinanced amounts required to pay for the debt. The changes to the parcel tax rates are as follows. You'll see that the East Lakeshore Drive water rate per taxable area has come down from 160.35 cents per taxable acre down to $106.73 per taxable acre. And for the East Lakeshore Drive sewer, the rates come from $241.36 per acre to $190.27 per taxable acre. So lower interest rates, the actual property owners are going to see that savings on their property taxes. Implications for the community: ensures the amount due for the debt portion of the Southeast Sector Water and Sewer Project are collected from the benefiting property owners. Organizationally, there's no changes. Budget, no changes to the financial plan are required. Significant dates: bylaw needs to be adopted no later than May 15th. And options: to give first three readings to East Lakeshore Drive Sewer Parcel Tax Bylaw 1182.06, 2014, and East Lakeshore Drive Water Parcel Tax Bylaw 1183.06, 2014, or option 2, not to make any changes to the existing bylaw. And staff's recommending option 1.
Thank you, Mr. Zackel. Good news indeed. We don't see rates coming down very often. Looking for first three readings for both bylaws. Councilor McCordoff, please.
Sure.
And Councilor Rhodes, seconder. Any input on that? All in favor? That portion of the meeting is done. That carries, and that portion of the meeting done. Little housekeeping there on the finances. Into the business part of the meeting, under Business 1, Desert Park Exhibition Society. Director Davis, I would think.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Correspondence was received from Desert Park Exhibition Society asking for forgiveness of charges to hold meetings at the Sonora Community Center, and they were asking that they would have at least 6 meetings per year. In our current fees and charges bylaw, we have applicable rates that provide a lower rate for nonprofit groups. Groups or organizations that hold meetings in multi-purpose rooms at the Sonora Community Center get charged $24.50 per hour. If that group is a bona fide nonprofit society, the established rate is set at $12.50 per hour. Desert Park Exhibition Society is a nonprofit and have been charged a nonprofit rate of $12.50 per hour for their meetings in the past. In terms of implications for the community, we have an established nonprofit rate that subsidizes the use of the facility. Providing a greater subsidy may open the door for other groups and associations to do the same. Under budget, our fees and services bylaw rates are set at $12.50 per hour for the nonprofit groups, and the significant dates would be ASAP. In terms of options, option 1, for council to provide Desert Park Exhibition Society free use of the Sonora Community Center for 6 meetings for this year only. Option number 2, for council to provide Desert Park Exhibition Society free use of the Sonora Community Center every year for 6 meetings a year. And option number 3, for council to direct staff to charge a nonprofit rate as per the fees and services charges bylaw for the use of the Sonora Community Center. And the recommendation is option number 3.
Thank you, Mr. Davis. So the other similar not-for-profit organizations are paying, is that correct?
There are some that do not pay, either by council resolution in the past or ones that work directly with the town. So if we have groups who work as a council-appointed group, or they work hand in hand with the Community Services Department to put on events, they would pay nothing. That is correct.
Okay, so that would be a direct relationship with the council, as you say, appointed groups and that. So then, when we look at Desert Park, the Desert Park Society, they are charging for stalls and barns, and they have other ways of generating revenue.
Absolutely, yes.
Okay, yeah. Okay, and so that would
they are a nonprofit though.
They are, yeah, right. And they're doing a lot of great things up there. Yeah. We understand that, but again, we're trying to keep the level playing field. So then, because of that, the recommendation was option 3 to keep charging that already not-profit rate of $12.50 an hour. Okay. Council, please. Councilor McCordoff.
Yes, I would like to move option 3 for council to direct staff to charge the nonprofit rate as per the fees and charges bylaw.
Thank you. Councilor Rhodes as seconder. Councilor McCordoff, and I think it should be noted that Councilor McCordoff is involved in a good many of these different organizations, and that some are paying and probably recommending that everyone pay that the subsidized rate of $12.50. Councilor McCordoff.
Thank you. I did talk to Mr. Davis this morning after I read this because I just wanted a little more information about this, and I asked him if it would be possible for the Desert Park Exhibition Society to use the Desert Park building. And he said that yes, that they could, and that would be free of charge. So they do have an option to meet in a building that they have keys for. So I know that there are other groups that do have an option. For instance, the Festival Society does meet at the Sonora Center, but if the Festival Society did not put on the events, Mr. Davis would be doing it, so he's happy to let us have that. So I do see that there is an option here for the Desert Park Exhibition Society. They could use the building up there for sure for their meetings. If they wish to come down to the Sonora Center, then it seems to me only fair to charge them at the rate of $12.50 per hour.
Okay. Anything further on that? Councilor Ryan, please.
Yes, well, I'll support this because I do think that they do. It's a good point that they have an option, but they also have sources of revenue, and I think we've tried to help them in various ways throughout the few years that they've been involved, and I think that this is not unreasonable to ask for that reduced rate.
Okay. Anything further? All in favor? Opposed? That's carried. They will continue to pay the subsidized $12.50 an hour rate at Sonora Center, or go to the building they control, the Desert Park. What do we call that building?
Desert Park Building.
Desert Park Building. I was thinking gymnasium. I'll get into a little bit of a tough one there. Thank you for the bailout. So they can use that, and they don't have to pay for it. That's great. Under Business 2, Working Alone Policy. I think this is very, very important when we end up with a few areas here that people could end up with this. So, Director Davis, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. WorkSafe BC requires contact arrangements to be established, introduced, and followed where workers are assigned to work alone where they may not be able to summon assistance in the event of an emergency. Staff has worked with Dennis McMullen and Associates and have identified a number of areas that require procedures for staff working alone, which are attached. A worker is considered to be working alone when he or she does not have assistance that is readily available in case of an emergency, injury, or ill health. An acceptable procedure to follow when working alone is to call an external source at the start of your shift or emergency call out, and then follow up with another call at the end of your shift or during your shift, depending on the nature of the risk involved. In the event there is an issue or the staff person does not follow up, a procedure will be implemented to ensure the staff person is not at risk. 4-Star Communications specializes in this type of service and is used by other municipalities. The price for the setup is $35, and a monthly fee of $140 will provide 100 calls. Any calls more than 100 will be charged at 75 cents per call. As part of our occupational health and safety program, we have a $5,000 budget for safety equipment and supplies. The total expenditure last year was just over $3,000, and the annual cost for this program will be just under $2,000, which would provide adequate funds. Each department will be required to thoroughly review their respective working alone procedures and make sure they are familiar with the process. This can be incorporated with departmental crew talks on an annual, semi-annual, or as-needed basis. In terms of implications for the community, keeping public work environments safe for workers will also be very important for the community. Organizational, departments will be required to review and implement the working alone policy and be sure they are familiar with their respective procedures. The budget will be allocated through the Occupational Health and Safety Program, and the significant dates is ASAP. We have been actually working on this for a little bit of time for the last 6 months, and it's something that WorkSafe BC would like to see done ASAP. In terms of options, for number 1, for Council to approve the aforementioned working alone policy. Option number 2, for Council to direct staff to make alternate arrangements in order to implement this policy. Or option number 3, for Council not to approve this policy at this time. And the recommendation is option number 1.
Thank you. Council, please. Councillor Rhodes.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'll move option number 1.
Thank you. Councillor Ryan, seconding. Councillor Rhodes?
No, I don't really have anything to say. I think the common sense and logic was well presented in the report, and for that reason, I would support this motion.
Yeah, I think it's one that I sure would like to see done. I know we had an incident around here in a related community organization where somebody was working by themselves, and I certainly felt very uncomfortable with that. We have people working weekends. Could they, so they're going to sign in actually on this, dial a number, sign in, I'm here, and they're going to sign out at the end of the day. With confined spaces and some things and pump houses, would they call in more than once a day? Would we ever look at that? Because they could end up in some, when they're covering the whole town and the rural area and all the farm pumps and all that kind of stuff, would they, again, is that a possibility, or is that happening?
Yeah. So when somebody is in a confined space entry, during the week, they would normally have somebody with them, so they wouldn't be working alone, and they would have to follow the confined space entry procedures that are already in place. If they get a call out and they're considered to be in a confined space entry, that's what each procedure is set up to do. So each director would go through possible scenarios where that would happen, and if they are by definition working alone, we will have something in place for them to do that exactly.
Okay, I'm going to present it in a little bit different manner. Not a confined space, but we still have pump houses and things like that, and it could be an electrical situation or low air quality or something like that. Would there be an opportunity or a situation where they would phone in once during the day or something? Would we ever trigger that, or?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So what would happen is those situations would be called or be considered a lower risk.
Okay.
So you would just have to probably call in at the beginning and at the end. Something that would be more high risk, they might want you to call every half an hour.
Okay.
And that would be established before four-star. That's their business, and that's how they do it. But we also want to make sure that we're not doing too much. We don't want to go overboard, but we want to do due diligence as per our policy.
Right, right. I know, and this would be going back quite a ways when I worked for TELUS, but there was one where an individual didn't report in at the end of the day. It wasn't this sophisticated, and again, I'm going back, 20 years for sure. Didn't call in, and nobody triggered that the individual hadn't called in from work. Thought, well, he forgot to call in, but they didn't sound the alarm, and the individual had passed away in the job site. So it just, you go through a couple of those sort of stories in your experience, and you think, yeah, this is a good thing. So, Councilor Murdoch.
Yes, thank you. I'm just wondering if someone decided to come into the Sonora Center or into Town Hall or Public Works on a weekend and they were by themselves, would that they'd automatically have to trigger this program? Is that correct?
That's correct. So as a director, it's my responsibility to pass the information through the policy on through council that gets approved, and then it's my responsibility to pass it on to staff. Okay. And if they don't follow it and something happens, and WorkSafe BC shows up, and they'll go through all of our past practices and policies and want to know if we actually had a crew talk and if we actually had people who were in that situation sign off on it, and if they have, it doesn't relieve us, 100% of that liability, but at least we've done our due diligence and probably could save thousands of dollars in fines.
Okay, my point is, I guess, that I know that Mayor Wells has said that occasionally he needs to get caught up on work. So when he comes in here, on the weekend, for instance, does he follow the same procedure? Do any of us do that or not? I mean, I'm just wondering.
It's a good, I was thinking.
It could.
Does that follow with the council as well?
It could, yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, how that's set up and how that's implemented, again, and because that isn't addressed in here, but if council feels that that's necessary, that can be included, meaning, to make sure that anybody outside of what's listed for procedures and for, directors to take that responsibility, I would assume that would come from the CAO. To make sure that that's implemented for council also, and at the end of the day, it's a safety precaution.
Absolutely.
And just to do that.
Yeah, and sometimes just to know who's in the building.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so we can address that as a side issue on that. Anything further? All in favor? Opposed? Carried. That passes. Thank you. Business 3, Marina Mortgage Licensing Agreements. Signatories. Mr. Zacco, please. Go, Director Davis?
Director Davis.
Okay.
Thank you again, Mr. Mayor. You can get confused. We've got the same shirt.
Oh, right. What a team.
On March 5th, 2012, Council approved the Marina Mortgage License Agreement to be used by the town for licensing the marina slips. And those are attached. On April the 2nd, 2013, Council passed a resolution allowing the Mayor and CAO to authorize the MMLAs for the 2013 mortgage season, which was last year. The purpose of this report is to recommend that Council pass a resolution that will delegate the signing authority to the CAO for 2014 and future years. As per the Marina Operations Policy, mortgage license holders in good standing were offered their first right of refusal for a boat slip in 2014. All of the marina slip end users have confirmed that they wish to continue using their mortgage slips for the 2014 season, with the exception of one slip, which will be filled by our wait list, which is quite extensive. Staff has circulated the new agreements to the marina slip end users for this season, and a few of them have returned signed agreements to the town along with the fees for this year. The 2014 agreements will need to be executed by the town. Although past practice is that Council has approved these rentals, the CAO recommends that future allocation of these slips be delegated to the CAO. The CAO wishes this process as parallel to the other facility rental that is routinely administered by the town administration. The CAO will then delegate the authority to the administering department head. In terms of options, pass a resolution authorizing the CAO to authorize the Marina Mortgage License Agreements for 2014 and for future years, or do not pass a resolution authorizing the CAO to authorize the Marina Mortgage License Agreements for 2014 and for future years. And staff's recommendation was number 1.
Yes, it should certainly be at the CAO only. Council, please. Councillor Rhodes, McCordoff, any discussion on that? Pretty much, Councillor Ryan.
Yeah, well, I think it's a good idea. We've been sort of cleaning up, doing these housekeeping things of making sure that they are assigned to the appropriate staff, and I think that's good. I just had one little question mentioning the number of people on the wait list. Do we have a number that you recall?
I think it's around a dozen.
Oh, really?
Yeah, somewhere thereabouts. And most of the people that are part of that, they're quite anxious to get some of these now. They don't want to wait, but the people who have them, as this indicates, really don't want to give them up.
Well, I was just thinking that, in terms of, I think there's been some difficulty that Watermark has had in renting some of their slips to their own residents and owners, and maybe they need to know about some of these people, because if they're willing to rent, they may rent from whomever. I agree. But anyway, it's interesting to know. I had no idea that there were that many.
Yeah, no, that is, we consider that from our side. That is good news to know that there's a strong demand. And I think answering Councillor Ryan, I don't know that Watermark wants to rent theirs for our yearly price that we rent ours for. I think they were looking at a bit of an economic driver from their rentals down there. So, but we'll see how this will all play out.
Yes.
Anything further? All in favor? Opposed? That's carried. The last item under business, business 4, the Jackpine Lane closure. My goodness, this goes back. This goes back and back and back to. I see the reporter Keith Lacey from the Osoyoos Times. He's getting his pen out there. I'm sure he's written about Jackpine Lane personally a few times, and we have reporters before him that wrote about Jackpine Lane and the closure and all the wherewithal around that. What we have right now is we have an individual that has written about a complaint. So I'll turn this over to Acting CAO Zackel, please.
Thank you, Mayor Wells. So we have received a complaint with respect to the Jackpine Lane closure. Councils have addressed this issue several times over the past 3 years. The process has included incremental changes from increased signage, installation of speed humps, and the closure of the lane to drive-through traffic. On July 16, 2012, Council passed the following motion to facilitate the closure of Jackpine Lane through the installation of a gate at the east end. Some public reaction resulted with the town receiving emails expressing concern related to the action. The motion 556 of 2012 was moved by Councillor Ryan, seconded by Councillor Rhodes, and resolved that Council approve public notice being given before the end of July 2012 regarding the closure of Jackpine Lane as a road. The attached email brings the issue of Jackpine Lane closure back to Council for consideration. The writer identifies significant trespass and safety issues that are occurring as a result of the closure of the lane. The writer expressed concerns about vehicles backing down the lane and others turning around on the Sixplex private property. The writer is proposing additional and larger signage. The town pay for the fencing of the Sixplex property and the reopening of the lane to enable flow-through traffic. The administration has reviewed the writer's proposed solutions and offers these observations. 1. Additional and larger signage. The road signs are sufficient to provide a clear message to travelers who are proposing to enter Jackpine Lane. The current signage delivers the messages of speed limit, local traffic only, no turnaround, and no through road. Although these road signs are not subject to the sign bylaw, it is the administration's view that the additional larger signage will add to the clutter of the area, which is contrary to the sign bylaw's goals. Additional signage may decrease traffic, however. The problem still exists for people who mistakenly travel down Jackpine Lane and require an area to turn around. Installation of a chain link fence to prevent entry by trespassing vehicles. Property owners have the responsibility to control access and egress to their property. Although traffic trespass may have resulted from the installation of the closed gate, the responsibility for private property access and egress remains the same. Removal of the gate and open Jackpine Lane for flow-through traffic. This action may result in the earliest interest group coming back to Council to restate their public safety concern. This public safety concern will then need to be weighed against public safety concern of vehicles backing down the lane and a private property trespass. Administration is of the opinion that additional information is now before Council given the experience of having the lane closed. This closure of the lane needs to be reviewed given the experience and additional information provided. Council also needs to consider the additional traffic that may result from the new development that is currently under construction. And number 4, canvass the area for additional information. Public consultation has occurred through the presentation of a directly affected party petition and several emails that outline their dislike for the gate and the speed humps. Council needs to consider if any additional information will be brought forward through a consultation process, or is Council comfortable with the current amount of decision-making information? Implications, community. This issue illustrates the complexity and opposing views that often accompany community life. Many community residents feel that closure of the lane decreases traffic and increases safety. While this may be true, closing Jackpine Lane has resulted in private property trespass and decreased safety through vehicles having to back down the lane. Organizational. Work impacts will be varied based on Council's decision. Budget. Budget for signage would be absorbed operationally. However, funding for fencing will have to come out of operational contingency funding. Significant dates is nothing applicable, and sustainability, nothing applicable. Options. Council directs the administration to implement all or selected actions as proposed by the writer. Option 2, Council resolves to maintain the situation as it currently exists. Option 3, Council proposes additional solutions. And what our CAO has for recommendation, administration is recommending Council revisit their decision given the additional information and experience with the lane closure.
Council, please. Councilor Ryan.
Always glad to step up to the plate as the leadoff. Well, there are, in the letter that we received, there are two significant changes that have happened since we first made this decision to close the lane. First is that there is now a resident who has a moving truck that he parks, and he's just on the west side of the closure. And the second is that there is a new development going in, which presumably, because it sits below grade, I think, on the highway, is going to use the lane for access to the garages and so on there. Those are two new things. I agree that the traffic signs are very clear, and I mean, they tell you everything you need to know, that if you go in there, you go at your own peril, unless you live there. So what should we do? Well, I can't believe, as the letter says, that there are 50 or 60 cars a day. I simply cannot imagine that there are that many going in that lane. So I would like to see us, first of all, do a traffic count. I'd like to see us put some strips over there and find out how many vehicles are actually going in there. I think we should talk to our planners and see what the plans are for the access to the development. I mean, I'm sure it's coming in from the lane, and I think with that is talking to the builders as well, and trying to work out something about the access that they need for workers and for equipment and for deliveries. It may be that we might have to, on a temporary basis, open the gate so that to facilitate that construction. But I think that before we actually open it permanently and reverse what we've done, that we really need to bring these two groups together. I have been somewhat involved in the restorative justice process, and there's nothing worse than, and we found this in the past with other things too, of hearing one group and making a decision and then having the affected group come. Now, in this case, it took a couple of years, but I don't think that the three suggestions, I'm prepared to follow any of them at the moment. I would rather get more information about the traffic going in there, talk to the contractors about their need, and do some temporary openings as necessary, and then at the very least bring the two groups together to talk about this. If we ever open it, I think we definitely need to put speed humps in there, and I think they've been removed. I think they were just temporary, and then when we closed it, we thought, well, we don't need them. But so that's the way I see it. I don't have enough information now, in other words, and I think that more consultation needs to take place. So that's the way I see it.
Okay, I think I'm going to jump in at this point just because I have a little bit more information. I'm sorry. I should have got my information out there first. And I did phone the complainant this morning, to invite him to come to council. Unfortunately, they got that flu bug that's going around, and both him and his wife are one's going into it and one's coming out of it, sort of thing. So that they couldn't make it for the meeting. I don't think it's I mean, obviously, if the ultimate ask would be to take the gate out, but there's enough problems with that road, how it opens up into you know, at Jackpine Lane, it's a back alley, and it turns into a street halfway down, and that's the whole issue. The complainant was very, very receptive to anything that we do. He again was looking at signage, and I went over and had a look at it and drove in. I didn't drive all the way down this time as I did the first time I tried it. There may be a possible solution or a part solution on signage. He's just looking for any numbers that can be cut down would really be appreciated. So maybe it's just we relook at it, talk to our Director of Services, Mr. Doucette, talk to him, see if we can get something going on signage rather than redo the whole thing. Because if we ever started talking about taking the gate down, you know, I think there were some serious issues there, and that. So there may be a lesser solution to keep everybody satisfied. I had this discussion with acting CAO Zackel, and he went over and before the meeting today. So he went into both ends, and we're trying to deal with it. And maybe if we could, you know, it is summertime coming, and the traffic is going to increase with that commercial motel addition there, and that is centered out of the Sahara Courtyard on the other side of the alley. So I think we know how that's going to look, but maybe we can put this and sort of send it in the direction of staff and see if we can look at this again. A couple of hands up here. Councillor Rhodes McCordoff, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Well, so I was a little conflicted with this at the very beginning as well, but you know, as you read it over, and I just wanted to go back to the historical part of closing that road down, and everything and all of the information that led up to the closure of that road was based on collaboration with the residents in that area. It's a proven method of problem solving that works so well in our community. We've done it many, many times, and you know, it made common sense. There was lots of logic behind it, and eventually the road was closed. I don't think that I'm prepared at this time to even look at an option of opening that road again because of that. That common sense and logic that was in place at that time is still in place now, and I would continue to support to keep that closed. And when we did the road closure, we also did public announcements about it. We had advertisements in the paper, and I know there was some reference in the email to us not talking to anybody. Well, you know, we did. We provided opportunity for every resident, whether they live in that area or up by the golf course, to participate in that decision-making process. I think we did a good job. I would continue to really support the keeping that road closed. However, that action did cause a little bit of downfall and a little aggravation, and you know, the things that are mentioned in there, I'm suspect about the amount of cars as well that go down there. I live in that area. I don't think I've seen that many in a month, let alone in a day. However, that's not, you know, it just takes one, you know, to cause a serious problem down there. I think that we need to hear from those residents, and certainly any other ones that would live on the east part of the area that's closed as well, and you know, base our decision on what we're going to do about it on that collaborative effort. I know it takes time, it takes effort, it costs money, but you know, I keep going back to the fact of that collaboration when you have difficult decisions like this, is so important, and it really is the best tool that we have for making decisions like this. And if it comes out that you know, we want to cost share with some fencing or some of the other suggestions, it's so much easier to make those decisions if you have all of the information, or at least provide the opportunity for each and every one that's affected by this to come forward and make their ideas and opinions noted. So I don't know whether we can make a motion on this today. I know there was not specifically asked for a motion, but that's certainly the way that I feel about it. Let's collaborate with everybody that wants to and base our decisions on the input from that effort.
Okay, and if we were looking for action, we could entertain a motion to refer to administration. But Councilor McCordock.
Yes, thank you. When I'm looking at the suggestions that the writer has, remove the gate and open up the road again, and that's his preferred solution. I don't agree with that. I think that we've gone through this collaboratively, and I think that opening up the gate is probably not the best thing to do, although we may have to do it the odd time if needed. I don't think we need to add any more signs. I think the more signs that you have, the more confused you are, and sometimes you don't even look at them if there's too many. So I think that the signage that is there is probably appropriate for the situation. My concern is that in the letter he says that the people on Maple Drive were not asked to respond, and my assumption was that they were, but I'm hoping that if they back onto the lane, that they do get an opportunity to say how this has worked over the last year and to comment on it. And the other thing is the Sahara building, the new building has, I think, 4 apartments downstairs, and the owner of the Sahara is living upstairs. So when the building was, and I'm on the planning panel, the advisory planning, whatever it's called, I've forgotten the exact words, but we looked at that, and there are enough parking spaces for the apartments and for the people upstairs. I mean, there has to be in the planning, in the building process. But my thinking is that right now we've got added problems because there are trucks down there delivering I don't know what, lumber and windows and all that, and I'm sure that has added to the problems down there. I'm wondering if when we do some consultation down there that we could talk to the owners of the Sahara and explain the problems and see if there's anything that can be done, or find out what their timeline is, and because I would think it's going to be another 6 months just looking at it to get this building completed. That might solve some of the problems at that time, and maybe it won't, because there are definitely going to be people going down that lane in order to get into the parking places. So I agree that with what everybody has said, that we need to look at a few of these issues and see if we can't work out something that's agreeable to most people.
Okay. Thank you. So, yeah, I think it just needs a relook at. And, you know, the road was narrowed now that we put the new sidewalks and curbs and gutters in on Cottonwood, makes that alleyway a little different. And the sign that was sort of suitable before when you cut the corner, just, you know, we probably lost, I don't know, for lack of 20% of that catching your vision as you go around the corner. Yeah. And the individual, the complainant, I think he'd be happy with whatever. And if that just took one small sign on the left-hand side, on the Sahara side, when you're looking at it, he seemed very reasonable looking at a solution here. So I think we should just get this over to admin, and if that's a public meeting sitting in this room where people have some input, or a chance to have some input, that may be where we're heading. So if someone has that resolution,
I'll also move, yes.
refer to admin.
To admin for, taking into account the discussion and the need for some further information and so on.
And bringing Director Doucette into it.
That's right. And I agree with you. I noticed today when I went over that visually it's not as clear until you make the turn as it used to be.
Right.
Because they've straightened it out instead of giving you a nice wide.
So now we have all of council and our administrative staff driving down the alley, turning around in the backyard. So there's 6 or 7 in one day.
No. I backed up.
That's even worse.
I got sore neck.
Okay, so we have that resolution and seconded. Anything further on that? All in favor? Okay, we will revisit this, and again, thanks for bringing this to our attention, and we'll get it working right. Okay, looking at paying some bills into some reports here, and General Sunbowl Arena payroll accounts, General and Sunbowl cash requirements, balances in the following funds, which amount to general account $646,952.23, Sunbowl account of $10,045.50, payroll accounts of $6,067.17. Any council input into that? All in favor? Opposed? Carried. CAO report, as stated, Mr. Manco is away. So we're going to Councilor's report. Councilor McCordoff.
Thank you. The first thing I want to talk about, I've got a few things that I want to mention today. One is the volunteer luncheon that the town put on the 12th of April. I just want to say how great it was that that so many people, I think there was about 130 people, came out to that luncheon. 2 groups at the end came up and said that they were not recognized, and I just want to make sure that they were. Choosing Wellness is a great group in this town, and Meals on Wheels. And I think the problem was there was a certificate for them, but we didn't know anybody was coming from that group, and that's why they weren't mentioned. Just wanted to make sure that they knew that we appreciated them as well. The Arts Council is having a dinner and comedy night on Saturday night, and I know that they still have some tickets left for that. That's April the 26th, and tickets are available at Imperial Office Pro. So please support the Arts Council. They do this every 2 years. And in the morning of that day, along with several other things that are on April the 26th, it's a busy weekend, so you have lots of choice as to what you would like to do. In the morning, there's a Sir Optimus Breakfast and Fashion Show, and that is on at Watermark from 9 to 11:30, and there are tickets available for that at Boutique de Sonia and Imperial Office Pro. So please consider attending those events. Also on April the 26th, I think there's an oyster. Maybe somebody else is going to mention that. I don't know about that one. I've just read it in the paper. But the art gallery is next door here. It has a new exhibit that is opening up. This is the Osoyoos Young Artists display, and they have some wonderful pieces. Maureen Potter and I went and picked them up from the high school and the elementary schools the other day, and there are lots of wonderful pieces in there. It goes until May the 10th, and along with the students' work, there are some local artists as well. So so the younger artists and the older artists. So please go in and visit that. It's on for 2 weeks. Just want to say thank you very much to everybody who supported Easter Extravaganza, especially Mayor Wells, who didn't scare too many children, as far as I know. It was amazing at the Easter egg hunt at the school ground. About 10 to 10, it looked like we weren't going to have very many kids, but they just seemed to come out of the hills at that time, and there were hundreds of them, and they found all of the eggs and the plastic eggs for the stuffed bunnies within about 5 minutes. So I appreciate the help for that I had there, and it was just a wonderful day for everybody. Thank heavens it wasn't today, because I'm not sure we would have got the same response in the rain. And the last thing I want to talk about is that today is Earth Day. And April the 22nd, 1970 was the first Earth Day, so it's been going for 44 years. We kind of forget that it's been fairly recent that this has started. It's for the protection of the environment, air pollution, toxic wastes, and so on. Apparently in 1969, I was reading this on the internet, that the Ohio River, I think it's called Cayuga River, caught on fire, and they discovered there was debris, oil, sludge, waste, sewage, and it was burning, and it was a bit of a wake-up call. And so in the States, they started Earth Day, and it spread around the world, and it's just one of those things that has really helped us learn about the environment and appreciate our green space. So it's a grassroots movement that demanded we keep people safe while we continue to grow the economy. And on that note, when I was watching a documentary on TV the other day, and they were talking about green grass and community gardens and that type of thing, and they said one interesting fact, and I'm not sure, I can't prove that it's right, but it makes sense to me. Over the span of a lifetime, each person, probably just in Canada, the United States, contributes 100 tons of garbage. And that's a pretty sobering thought. So think about Earth Day and do something to help protect the environment. Thank you.
Thanks, Councillor McCordoff. Councillor Rhodes, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So just carrying on with that theme, I find it necessary to put out a challenge to Councillor Ryan. We let an event slip by here that we've always been so diligent about every year, and that was the Lights Out, Power Out campaign. And, you know, I would never bring this up for any other reason, but, you know, the results are out. And once again, Osoyoos did very poorly. As a matter of fact, we may have been last on the list. And, you know, it doesn't seem like an awful lot, but the energy that's saved in a community like ours is profound. And I'm a little, you know, I just found out about this after it was all over. I hadn't even participated in myself. So I'm embarrassed, and I think I need to put out a challenge to Councillor Ryan that on a daily basis we need to remind each other about this so we don't miss it again, provided we're here in the future. I too was able to attend the volunteer luncheon. For me, it was kind of a last-minute decision, but you know, as you go through life and things that happen, and you know, you get jaded with some negative things, and you always get buoyed and feel good about the positive things, and that's got to be one of the most amazing things that happens in our community. To bring all of those volunteers together, I think it was a record amount of attendees this year, and so well done and so, you know, feel good. It's hard to even come up with words. And so a personal thank you to Councillor McCordoff for somehow or another getting me out there. I'm not exactly sure how it happened. And I would also like to apologize to all the attendees for prolonging the agenda by reading parts of it over twice. However, nobody really noticed or said anything to me about it, so I feel I need to apologize. I was in the Easter parade, and sometimes when you get on in life like myself, I can't remember the last time that I wore a hat. And I did it this thing, and it was okay. It was, you know, kind of sat on top of my fat head awkwardly, but it stayed on, and there you go. And finally, Desert Live is an event that's happening in the latter part of June and early July in our community, and it's really, really beginning to get a lot of energy. And I'm not really going to talk about it much, but I would like to mention that they do have a website just up recently, I think in the last day or so, www.desertlive.ca. Spend a couple of minutes, go and look at it. For me, this is a dream come true to have these music events scheduled in our community. I just really can't think of anything better that could be happening at this time. And You know, they're starting to get a little bit of a lineup. Some of the venues have been set, the schedule, the timing, and of course, starting to lock up those music attendees, and it just seems to be coming together, and I'm so happy about it. So take a second, go and look at that website. It's coming together piece by piece and getting better every day, so worthwhile 5 or 10 minutes to have a look at it.
Thanks, Councillor Rhodes. Councillor Ryan, please.
Well, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Well, mentioning Earth Day, as Councillor McCordoff did, today is Earth Day, and even Earth Hour. That it's interesting. I'm glad to know that that Councillor Rhodes has a little memory problem too. That I'm not alone. But I was there on Earth Hour, and I think in the afternoon I thought, oh my gosh, this is Earth Hour. And I sent off an email, and to the credit of our staff, they got one of our e-news items out, reminding everybody. And if everybody in town was on that, then it would be an excellent communications vehicle. But we haven't got everybody yet. We're still pushing for that 4,800 number. But anyway, yeah. But these things sneak up on you. You know, it's amazing. And unfortunately, the calendar makers are not helping, because they used to put all these little dates on there, and now, you know, they're lucky if they put Christmas and Easter on. So anyway, but we have to, we'll remind each other. That's a challenge that I'm willing to accept. Anyway, today is Earth Day, and Gian Jomeshi today, I was listening to him, and he was saying, you know, it is, and he said, you know, it's been going on for so long, and maybe we just kind of take it for granted, we forget about it, but let's just think about it. And his suggestion was, reflect a little bit on, you know, on what life would be like in a post-oil world, you know. And and he mentioned a few things, but you know, one of the things that he mentioned, which always resonates with me, is how we, you know, we have probably in Canada some of the freshest, cleanest, most delicious water in the world, and people insist on going around, you know, and buying a bottle of it. And if you think about what the cost of gas is, I mean, the gas is nothing compared to bottled water. I mean, if you could fill your car with bottled water, then, you know, and pay the price, you would have something to complain about. So, you know, there are stainless steel, there are plastic bottles that you can use, reusable bottles, but, you know, don't buy water in bottles. Take some from your home tap. That's my contribution to Earth Day today. I want to congratulate some people, too. I want to congratulate the Festival Society for the wonderful egg extravaganza. They just had a wonderful, wonderful time. And I found I thought I'd keep Councillor Rhodes company in the car this time. And so I was just struck by how responsive the crowd was. I mean, you know, you'd wave to people and wish them a Happy Easter, and they'd wave back and they'd smile and say Happy Easter. And it really struck me that people were so responsive, and they just, you know, it was just a delight. I want to congratulate also Brock Payton and his archers, and Peter Gaida. I don't know if we ever mentioned anything publicly, but Peter Gaida is one of our teachers, and he has recently been, by UBC, he's been acknowledged as an excellent teacher, and was given a handsome sum of money to I think to give to some of his students, or to have programs. And also he's able, if there's a student that wants to go into the engineering program at UBC, there's money circulating through him, channeling through him for a scholarship there. So it's just wonderful and well-deserved. He's just front and center whenever we go to talk about our and hand out our town scholarships to the students. You know, he's usually the one behind the mic who's organizing things. So congratulations to him and to the others as well. And I just wanted to, we passed our tax bylaw today, and you know, when you look at it, it says they're due by 4:30 on Tuesday, or on, I guess, is it Tuesday? The 2nd of July. You know, we haven't got our notices yet, but when you get your notice, go online and go to your bank account and say, I'm going to pay it on the 30th of June, and then forget about it, and it'll go into the bank account at the town automatically. You don't have to write it, or you can write a check immediately and bring it in, post-date it to the 30th of June. No problem. But I'm going to, I know, Mr. Mayor, you're probably waiting to talk about this, but I'm going to just say we want a perfect attendance this year. We want nobody to be late. And there are so many ways you can have it taken off your account automatically. You can pay it in advance with a post-dated check. You can pay it online, which I love to do. You just click at it and you forget it. And as long as you got the money in there, you're okay. But anyway, let's have perfect attendance this year at tax time.
Thanks, Councilor Ryan. And I think maybe Councilor Ryan could be persuaded when we get into the last days of June, we could get him in a fetching attire with one of the signs going like this out in front of Town Hall. That might make sure we meet our goals.
I'd be happy to do that if you would let me borrow your chicken outfit.
Touche. Yes, I've got a few items to talk about today. One of them was champions. We were talking about champions, and we missed these two gold medal winners with Brock Payton, and it was Sarah Martin and Alec Russo were the gold medal winners in Edmonton. So congratulations and champions all. Following up where Councillor Rhodes was on Desert Live. This is really a new opportunity for Osoyoos. We have a lot of people putting a ton of energy in there. Town of Osoyoos is a sponsor, as is Destination Osoyoos. This is looking like a 3 to 4 day music festival, all going to take place at Gyro Beach Park in the band shell. Really looking like a great opportunity. So if you go on to what Councillor Rhodes said, www.desertlive.ca, the acts are starting to fill out, and you can see who's coming. There's some really exciting performers coming, and I think it's going to be a great addition to the town, and maybe this is our little niche that we've been trying to fit in. There's a few other items that are coming up, and this one it's very, very popular, but I'd like to talk about the Oyster Festival that's being put on by the Oliver and Osoyoos Chamber of Commerce, and it's let me just find the spelling of it here. If you would like to look at the events, it's www.oysterfestival.com, which is OOOYSTRER festival.com. So it's triple O. There's 3 O's in that front of that oyster. Oliver Osoyoos oysterfestival.com. There's an event on Wednesday at Tin Horn, an event on Thursday at Terrafina, which is the restaurant at Hester Creek. On Friday here in Osoyoos, there's the South Okanagan Chamber of Commerce Oyster Beer and Beast Bash. I'm not quite sure what that is. This is at Spirit Ridge in their convention center, and this is going to have all the microbreweries around. So this is going to be beer and oysters and snacks. Now, these are all obviously ticketed items, but if you went onto the website, you would find out where to get your tickets and the price of the events. On Saturday afternoon, there's an event that's also over at Spirit Ridge, and it's going to be on the top floor, on the penthouse floor up there. So you're going to be on the top floor overlooking the town, and it's an Saturday afternoon event for people that are true oyster lovers, and all the oyster shuckers, and I think half of the west coast of half of the east coast of Vancouver Island will be here, because they sure were last year. It was a great event, and I know a lot of people really enjoy fresh oysters. So there's the Friday night, there's the Saturday afternoon, and on Saturday, April the 26th, there's a signature event, Art of the Oyster Pearl Gala at Watermark. And again, the details would be on that website. So this is really quite special. I attended I attended some of the events last year, really enjoyed myself. I think I'm going to see if I can possibly make it to that beer bash on the Friday night and have some oysters and beer. It's really quite an event with people having a lot of a good time. However, on the Saturday night, I will be attending the Arts Council dinner that they're putting on. There's another presentation coming to town, and I just picked this one up today. The Hospice Society, which again is Oliver and Osoyoos, and it's really neat that we seem to be gaining strength with these two town organizations coming together, be that search and rescue, or in this case, hospice. And they are getting close to probably having a physical presence in the town of Osoyoos. However, it won't be hospice care. But there's a lot of things that can happen through hospice and through the organization that people can use when they're at home. And so I'm really looking forward to this getting kicked off. And so they're on Monday, May the 5th, at the Osoyoos Golf Course at 2:00 p.m. in the afternoon. The price is $10. Stephen Garrett is coming to put on a presentation, and it is Embrace Your Death, and his website is embraceyourdeath.com, which sounds a little bit ghoulish, but he is coming to Osoyoos in the afternoon and Oliver at night, and he's putting on this is a world-class presentation about that subject of death and how you can start being prepared for it, I suppose. It's a part of the hospice program and plan, so it is there, and the tickets will be available at Office Pro bookstore, or office supplies downtown. So there's an opportunity there for people to pick this up in Osoyoos. And I think that's basically my report. Of course, in the family, we did have my mother's wonderful 100th birthday. That was a great party for everybody that attended. And the Easter work that the volunteers in town did, from the kids and the royalty and the face painting to the festival society and everybody involved. Just and the Rotary Club with their pancake breakfast, and just something to really be proud about for the town of Osoyoos. It was really a neat event. So I think that's all for today, folks. I normally would say enjoy the sunny afternoon. It isn't sunny, but in Osoyoos it isn't raining. Have a good afternoon. Motion to adjourn. Rose McCordoff, all in favor? We're adjourned. Thanks, Val.
I hope my death is a surprise, sorry.